It's that you were a blue ribbon hog wrestler at the age of 13.
That is very true. I grew up in a small town in Iowa, and that's what we used to do for fun.
Do you happen to remember the hog that you wrestled to win that blue ribbon?
You know what? His name was Dolph Pigler.
Okay. Yeah, I know how to use this equipment. I've been using it for years. I know how to record. I'm an audio man. All right, welcome everyone to Rock Hard Caucus. This is the 249th episode. This is another in the living room series. We've got in-person people sitting right in front of me in my house. Windows open, so please excuse any environmental noise. It's just here for ambience to make you at home more comfortable as you listen to this. It feels like you're there. That's why the window's open. Today we're going to be discussing a topic that I've chosen to become obsessed with for the next 6 months. This is the thing that I'm going to care about until November. No, I'll probably care about it forever. But Johnson County is in the process of trying to get the public to vote to approve $100 million roughly to go towards the building of a new jail and sheriff's office in the county. There's a lot of details we can get into, and I'm sure we will. But before we do that, let's introduce this round table of guests. We're not going to really conduct this like a round table discussion, probably, but we got several people here, experts in the room, people who have been doing research and work on this subject and they care about it. That's your expertise, is caring, right? Everyone cares? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we want to use full names, or would you prefer some level of plausible deniability as we record this? Let's start with our returning guest, the mysterious H.C. Van Pelt. I have to say your name correctly. Also known as Cris, is back on the show. Welcome back.
Thank you.
People may recall Cris from a very flock-focused episode a few months ago, and he now lives closer to me, so he's in my house now. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
And moving to my left, we've got my old friend Solomon.
Welcome. Yes, Solomon. I'm a PhD student in educational policy at the university.
Educational policy.
Former music student.
Yeah. So, back in the day, Solomon and I were graduate students at the School of Music together. We were both music theory TAs at about the same time. And haven't seen you much in
years ago,
intervening 10 years, but I'm glad that we've started running in the same circles again.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming over. And to my left, we have
Allison. I am a fifth-year PhD candidate in counseling psychology, and I'm defending my dissertation in August.
Okay. Are you ready for that? You've got 3 months.
Yeah, it'll get done.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's nothing to worry about, really.
I'm not worried.
All right. So I guess maybe a little background on the jail for people who are not paying as much attention to this yet. The proposal, as far as I'm aware, is for a new facility that is designed to house 100 inmates with a space to set up 20 additional beds, but also having some facilities which would allow for a later expansion to a jail housing 240 people, which I think would be subject to another bond vote to do that expansion. And we're currently sitting with a jail that's like 40 years old or something, maybe older than that. They keep saying that the building's deteriorating and that it's overcrowded. I believe they tend to have like around 90 people in the jail. Am I right about that?
Well,
It's loaded.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I believe the total number of people that tend to be incarcerated, hovers around that 90. Mm-hmm. But the number actually in the Johnson County Jail has been sitting around 55, 56 for the past years.
Okay. Wait, what's the difference then? Where does that 90 number come from?
So a number are housed outside of the county.
Okay, so that's including people that they ship somewhere else.
Right.
Okay.
And there's an additional number that counts towards the number of inmates, I believe, for people with ankle monitors and
Okay,
That
so
appears to
people
be
on
sometimes
house arrest and
included in the count. I don't think it would be in the 90,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. So in the building itself, that is the subject of so much, so much controversy right now, is around 55.
On average, yes.
Okay. And so we're talking about a facility to double that number and later on quadruple that number, almost quintuple, 240. Okay. So I'm concerned with this vision of the future being put forward by the sheriff, because I don't anticipate the population of this county increasing that much. I don't anticipate a massive increase in the crime rate in at least the near future. Maybe the far future holds just unimaginable horrors for us all. I don't know. But why do you need a facility for 240 people when right now it's usually around 55? What are we envisioning in the future? All right, so let's talk about something that's been like a real subject recently of conversation. Last summer, right?
Yes.
Last summer, there was a survey that went around to a few people in the county. A survey conducted by
CSSI at the University of Iowa, the Center for Social Sciences and Innovation.
And this was a survey with the intention of, well,
It's a great question.
We can speculate,
also loaded.
But on its face, it's, trying to gauge, does the public support building a new jail?
Yes.
To put it very broadly, that was the purpose of this survey. And the results seemed to indicate that, yes, in general, the people of Johnson County do support building a new jail. And that survey has been cited by people in power who do support the new jail and want a new office and stuff like that. But maybe that's not the whole story.
Yeah. I would not say that the results indicate that.
Yeah.
I would say that the findings cannot support ever saying that the majority of Johnson County is in support of a new jail. That's not the study that they did that could support that statement. However, that is very much the statement that elected officials are using to justify moving really quickly on getting this like nearly $100 million bond measure on the ballot.
Right. Yeah, I guess we should reiterate that. It's going to be on the ballot in November, so people can vote yes or no, and it has to reach 60% to actually pass. So, yeah.
Well, I was just going to speak a bit about... So, CSSI is sort of a remaking of what was the Public Policy Center at the university, which does several different things. But part of their mission is that they can be contracted to do survey or research work on behalf of other groups or governmental organizations, which is what happened here.
Right.
And so, you could read the documents, and of course there's some public meetings available through Johnson County. And basically, they were assisting. So the county had this plan and a group to enact this sheriff's office and jail, right? The plan for that. And so they contracted with CSSI to assist in that. And it's not totally clear all of what that would mean, but, there's a list of different things. But part of it, from looking at the documents and listening to a lot of the meetings, is sort of a marketing purpose, or from their perspective, maybe an educational purpose to teach the public why the jail is necessary. And that's a lot of what we were criticizing, in the whole, research project.
Right. So just the fact that, people are being presented with this survey is intended to perhaps sway them in a certain direction.
Yeah, I think we definitely believe that. And I think, I listened to the meeting minute, these recordings, and, people were saying, yeah, we need to check all the boxes, so that the public, it will go along with this. Or, I heard the words educate, and, people don't really know, much about this. There was a lot of discussion about, like, what's the purpose? And it wasn't entirely clear. But you might think, from the main question, really, it was like, if we were to hold a vote right now, would you support building this sheriff's office and jail?
Right.
and it's a 4-scale answer. Definitely yes, probably yes,
Sure.
probably no, definitely no. That was how it was worded. So the first question in my mind is, how many of the probably yes are going to vote yes, right? But then there's all kinds of other issues. It was just a very simple question that didn't give the cost. And like Allie was big on that, the cost and the location and all these factors, right?
Yeah, I haven't read this, so like I don't know what was presented to these people.
Maybe it's also helpful, and I don't want to back up totally, but I think they really want to get this jail passed, and there's a history of this bond measure.
And when you say
failing.
they, can we specify like who wants this? Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that there's more people than the people that I'm naming.
I mean, there are people in public meetings repeating that. Like,
so
this needs to happen.
Sheriff Kunkel is one of the people I think that's like really driving this. Also, Supervisor Rod Sullivan. I would say Supervisor John Green. Lisa Douglas Green has been wanting to support it. And really on the supervisors currently, I would say only Mandy Remington and Supervisor V. Fixmore Rise have been at least like questioning what is going on.
Yeah. I wouldn't... I definitely wouldn't characterize their positions as against building a new jail.
Right.
They've said so repeatedly, which is... I mean, my position is I don't think we should move forward with this at all. But but the people in elected positions are being more, quote, responsible than I am. So, yes, there's a lot of people in authority who see this as a necessity to move forward, or at least that's how they're talking about it in public. You have something to add to that?
Just to add, like, this has failed.
Yes,
similar expansion. I don't know all the details, but I think in the early 2000s, and then around 2012, 2013,
yes.
They're both rejected in public ballot measures.
Yes. I don't remember the final numbers for that 2000 vote, but it was 2012 or 13. I think it was 13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that reached 56% approval, so almost to the 60% threshold that they need. And
I think the earlier vote was similar to that. It was just over 50, I believe.
Okay. So this is very anti-democratic. The majority clearly wants this. Anybody have any idea, like why is this a ballot measure that must reach 60% to actually pass? Like, how is that set up? I think that's part of state code, right?
That is not my focus area. It's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't have a solid answer for you, but if I had to speculate, it's because it's a bond. It's a long-term commitment that's going to bind, multiple generations of the Board of Supervisors, essentially. And the county has to be very, very sure that this is what people want going forward for the next 30 or 40 years or however long this bond term is going to be.
Yeah. I was joking when I said it's anti-democratic, but I have heard certain elected officials say that.
Oh,
Just
share more.
I find that to be funny. I'm pretty sure I heard that from Sean Harmson. That doesn't. It's not libel if I sort of remember it happening, right?
I think that's the legal standard. Yeah.
Okay, so why did it fail the last 2 times? Do we have a good answer for that? Aside from, just to put it vaguely, a lot of people who live here have more progressive ideas about how to deal with crime. This is a difficult community to get on board with, like, increased incarceration.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I don't think that has softened in the years since 2013 from what I have observed about the people who live here and the people who are engaged with politics. If anything, people are more critical of police and incarceration than they were 15 years ago. So is this current proposal, what we know about it at least, more aligned with like have they taken that into consideration? Like that people are more critical of police and prison than they were 15 years ago. So is this proposal like...
Yeah, I would say
intended to sell better to those people, or?
I mean, I don't think that that's going to sell to those people. You're talking about a proposal that is tied to, at minimum, quadrupling, this idea of even projecting that we're going to be incarcerating even more people in the future. Right. And so in that way, I don't think so. And, we heard last week, there were, I believe, it was led by Supervisor Remington. She proposed a 1-to-1 match for affordable housing, right? And I think Supervisor Fixmer-Rise also was sharing similar sentiments about if we're going to do this, then let's also put money into these other aspects. And I would say that it felt clear to me. I mean, Supervisor Sullivan was clearly against that. Supervisor Green, I don't know where he sits, but he doesn't want to tie it to the bond measure.
Yeah.
And Fixmer-Rise and Remington were wanting to tie that to a bond measure. I think that is the most plausible bond measure that would pass in this county, is tying it to affordable housing or initiatives that would that we know decrease rates of incarceration and recidivism. Universal child care is a great one.
Yeah. That was a really interesting conversation. So we're talking about the work session from last Wednesday, whatever that date was, early May. I thought that was really interesting because some members of the board were insisting that, tying the jail bond to a 1-to-1 match for affordable housing, for example, would definitely kill the bond measure. Like, no one will vote for, we're clearly not going to pass that. But part of the assumption was that the $100 million is what the jail bond is going to get.
Right.
When I felt like the proposal was maybe cut that in half and then split the money between these two ideas. Right. I don't understand the logic that telling people to vote for a jail by itself is an easier sell to the public than, do you want a jail and money for housing?
Right.
If anything, that's forcing a lot of more radical members of the public to consider, I guess I can, if it comes with this, I guess I can allow the expansion of a jail, a larger jail. You're forcing people to compromise. Yeah.
At the same time, I think that's where a lot of the pushback comes from for this bond measure and the one in 2013. It's that the scope is not limited to just the jail. The 2013 project I believe they proposed taking a good chunk of downtown Iowa City around the historic courthouse, integrating the courthouse, building additional courthouses, etc. And that worked out to, I believe, in the area of $50 million. If you adjust that, it's around $80 million now. So it's a similar cost proposal as the one that they're putting forth now. But the facility now includes a lot of space and a lot of facilities for the sheriff specifically. If you look at the cost basis estimate from Shive Hattery that they produced, they literally sat down with the sheriff, created what they called a wish list with, a number of items, everything from parking for the MRAP to, training rooms where they can play simulated shooting range.
Oh, the sheriff's
they
get an arcade.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like an 800 square foot room, basically with a projector to, play video games as well.
Tell them what you've been calling that room, Chris.
What did I refer to?
The toy room?
Yeah, a tactical version of Duck Hunt.
The danger room? Is that the X-Men? Yeah.
Gosh,
and
it's so disturbing.
I don't want to completely trivialize it. I mean, there's obviously value in having, trained sheriff's deputies. But it's presented as though the jail and all of these other facilities are just not in any way severable.
Right. Yeah, it's unacceptable for us to attach some kind of housing measure to this. However, the huge jail and the huge if you office is integral tied together. Yeah.
And looking at the cost basis estimate, the most comprehensive jail replacement, which includes a holding facility, which isn't really justified or motivated, but let's assume that that's part of it, would sit at $48 million.
Where'd you get that number?
That's the Shive Hattery cost estimate. So that's the one that the county commissioned. How much is everything going to cost us?
Right.
So $48 million, according to them, would be the jail itself.
Okay. And that's like half of
Right.
what it sounds like is going to be on the ballot in November. Okay. The rest of it is big offices and the arcade, the new arcade.
I mean, yeah. There's more to it, obviously. There's one proposed component was additional facilities for vehicle maintenance, even though the county just expanded its centralized vehicle facility. Like they spent, I believe it was like $1.7 million expanding that. And now the sheriff wants his own. And none of that is discussed in the cost estimate either. And that's, I think, is very problematic.
Well, I think it's interesting that you so quickly have answers to how much specific parts of this proposal cost, because if you attend a public meeting and you hear somebody in the room ask a question like this, it's treated like, well, there's no way for us to know that.
Right.
That's impossible to know. This just has to be $100 million on the ballot in November, and that's it. And how they spend it is up to them.
Yeah.
But it's good to have, some of this is broken down at least and is accessible to the public if you know where to look. So I'm glad that you did.
I mean, it's on the county website. They have a jail information website, and the whole report, you can just download it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that takes time. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that. Can we talk more about this survey? It sounds like you view this as a flawed process.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I also want to mention that the survey cost taxpayers $60,000.
Okay.
And essentially was used to, again, and I'm putting air quotes up, educate about the current facilities. But there's also, when we're thinking about education, or at least someone who's in education that educates students at the higher ed level, the purpose of education is to provide a breadth of information. Mm-hmm. And the information is heavily skewed towards a perspective that really wants this jail to get built after 2 failed previous measures. Mm-hmm. And so the information posed, Salt, can you remember some of those questions? And
this is educating on the current status of the current old building, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So the survey portion of the research, started with that opening question. Would you, how likely are you to vote or whatever? What's your
So they're
opinion?
asked this question before they're given any.
Yeah, just sort of straight up.
Yeah, where are you coming into this?
Yeah.
Right.
And then it presented a series of, it's sort of what you might call priming, or as sometimes people call it deliberative polling, where you ask a question, you present some information that's, presented as factual. And then you ask the question again, you sort of say, oh, what's your opinion now? Mm-hmm. And that is a way to sort of, in a research context, is a way to say it's sort of an intervention. You're presenting this information, you're seeing if things change. And
is this persuasive?
Yeah. Given does this matter? And
new,
you could answer,
new information.
Yeah. I'm not sure, so there could be different purposes here. One is the poll could just teach people about what we think, why we need this jail, right? Mm-hmm. It could also be maybe they were expecting a lower number of yes votes on the first question, and then after they present more information, then they could cite that, to say, oh, actually, when people know,
Sure, yeah. Proof that, when you spread this fact, it does influence people to vote a certain way.
It turned out the results were pretty similar, but, before and after presenting this information. But, and Cris could speak more to this too, I think, but it was a series of 6 questions, I think, from stuff that's, I think everyone would agree was factual to statements that were, I think, contestable. Information, that it was either half or almost totally, I would say wrong.
Yeah? Do you have an example?
Do you remember?
Yeah, I can give an example. One question, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was along the lines of, are you aware that the Board of Supervisors has determined that there is overcrowding in the jail? Which is a very kind of leading question, and it kind of presumes that there is overcrowding.
Sure.
But
right. It's taking it out of the realm of like objective fact and moving it towards, well, these people say this.
Right.
Do you trust them?
But, that's not even the worst part of it. Like, there could actually be factually overcrowding, but if you look at the official numbers, the jail holds at minimum 92 people, according to the state of Iowa. But yeah, like I said at the beginning, the number has actually been sitting at around 55, 56. The sheriff has instated an operational capacity of 65.
Okay.
So can you say that there is overcrowding in such a scenario? Like, how are we defining overcrowding? It's a very loaded term to be asking on a survey. And yeah. And there could be ways to get to an idea of overcrowding. There could be very good reasons for the operational capacity being set the way that it is. But to say that there is overcrowding as though it's a fact that's been determined, that's very questionable in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a fundamental conflict here is that some people think that it's the way we deal with crime is wrong, that just locking people up and taking their freedom away. And I guess I should specify this is a jail. This is not a prison.
Right.
So this is like people who haven't been convicted of
Right,
crimes.
exactly.
There are people who are ideologically opposed to this method of, criminal justice in the first place. And then there are some who are like, begrudgingly like, well, this is the way it is now. And then there are some who love it. And, trying to get all those people to come together and agree on a $100 million new facility is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, that idea of overcrowding, it also depends on like where the person that I was just mentioning is on that ideological spectrum. Some people who are opposed ideologically to the existence of prisons in the first place, any person being held in a cell is overcrowding, basically. More than zero is wrong. And then other people, look, what I'm trying to get at here is that the state of the current building is not why people are being mistreated in jail. Yeah. Right? Like,
I think if you listen to the people who have been, largely the narratives that I've heard from people who have been incarcerated there, that is exactly what they're saying, which is it's not the state of the building, it is the treatment that they are receiving there.
Right. I think that if your job is to lock people up, you, even assuming like the best of intentions, getting into a job like that, like, you view them as less than you, and their treatment is not your main priority, and you're going to disregard their comfort. Right? I mean, that's your job. So I don't think that building a fancy new building is going to improve the lives of the people that are being locked up in the facility.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, I do think that money should be invested in. So you know what, Justin, I don't know what we should do. Yeah. Because actually we don't have a lot of information. I am very against, spending nearly $100 million on, exactly as Cris described, this like proposal that includes the jail and the so much money for this, for the sheriff's office. When I do think that we can think outside of the box here, I will say I think something needs to be done. I do. I don't know what that something is, but I don't agree with what is currently being proposed. But I do want to come in a little bit with my positionality. I didn't get involved with this topic from that angle. Yeah, I got involved because community members were talking about this super flawed survey and honestly talking about a research team that I'm somewhat familiar with.
Right. I mean, people personally who were involved
And at first I was like, oh my gosh, what are people talking about? I've been wrapped up in, applying for my internship residency, finishing my PhD. And, then I took a look at the survey report, and that's the angle I got involved. And the angle that I got involved on this topic is from a research integrity standpoint, and also I kept hearing that multiple elected officials, including the sheriff and multiple members of the Board of Supervisors, kept citing this specific survey as rationale for why they were moving so quickly on this project, because the supermajority of Johnson County supports a new jail. Mm-hmm. And when I emailed the researchers to see what they thought about that, they didn't respond to me. Mm-hmm. When I emailed my literal email was like, hey guys, hope your semester is ending well. Are you aware of the ways that your research is being interpreted by the public? I don't think that that's what these findings can support.
Right.
And then I emailed the sheriff and the Board of Supervisors and just said, I think that you're using this far beyond what can be supported by this research. And in that realm, I would encourage you to stop saying that the supermajority of Johnson County supports a new jail. That's not what this survey is saying. I'm hoping that we can get clarity from CSSI on what they think. That would be the ethical and responsible way to approach this issue. And the response that I got back, Supervisor V. Fixmero Rise wanted to sit down with me and talk about it. Supervisor Sullivan basically said, thank you for your opinion, sweetie. Didn't use the word sweetie, but that's what it felt like. Thanks for your interest, sweet. And it's just so demeaning. And then
he didn't say sweetie.
Didn't say sweetie, for the record. Didn't say sweetie, but was dripping in that vibe, as the kids say.
Sure.
And from the majority, then the other supervisors didn't respond at all.
Right.
And that's how I got involved. Is I'm like, this is so unethical that supervisors are citing this as the reason to move so quickly on a bond measure that largely has no substance behind. They're not even able, as we saw in the meetings, to say how much is this going to cost. They just want to fill in a number.
Right. Yeah. The discussion that we witnessed last week was they're trying to decide on language for the ballot measure, and there was a lot of quibbling about we just say not to exceed a certain dollar amount, and then we don't have to know really how much they're actually going to spend. We just give them a cap. But it's a lot of fucking money.
It is, and to be fair, there were I know Remington wanted a 1-to-1 match, and I believe Fixmero Rise kept encouraging the supervisor chair John Green to slow down. Let's take some time on this. Let's get some of these numbers to paper. I think both V and Mandy were saying something similar to that. Yeah. I
don't really know where that discussion went. I mean, we were at the meeting last night. They didn't talk about it at all. Yeah. So I'm not sure where we're at in the process. But again, I think this is a conflict between people who do take seriously alternatives to our incarceration and people who are like, this is what we have and we just need to get it done. So when a conversation like that happens where it's like, can we slow down and figure this out? It's very frustrating for those people who just want it to be over.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I'm coming at this mostly from the transparency angle, really. Yeah. It's the numbers and the terms like overcrowding and deteriorating that are being used and that are being pushed through both, the survey and public communications. The numbers exist. Somebody has them. Somebody's making these decisions. The sheriff, for a reason, is deciding not to put more than 65 people in the jail right now, even though on paper it should hold more. Mm-hmm. So these decisions are being made, and there is absolutely zero public information available, as far as I've been able to find, to support any of it. And that, I think, is very concerning when you're asking the public to basically lend you $100 million and hope everything works out. Mm-hmm. Because to me, I haven't even decided how I feel about a new jail. I think there's a very, very good argument to be made for it. Because currently the jail right now is old and it's being held to standards that applied back in the 1980s.
Yeah, right.
And, I don't love the carceral system that we have, but if we are incarcerating people, we should do so properly. Like, we should care for them. We should give them, you know, room and a decent building.
That's who they're trying to appeal to, right? Is that, like, you know, they say things like this, it's overcrowded. The building is not safe for the people who work there, the people who are housed there. Housed is in strong quotes. They're trying to appeal to that mindset, right? That, like, if we're going to do this, we need to treat these people right. I think that's the median Johnson County voter, basically, right?
But they're not making the case for it. It's, you know, we just want this $100 million and we're going to do something with it. You know, we might build a better jail or we might buy an extra MRAP. It's, you know, we got to have spares.
And a cool toy room.
Right. And it's that lack of transparency that really bothers me. The sheriff unilaterally, as far as I can tell, determines that 65 number. And even if we do trust the sheriff right now to do that correctly and in the best interest of everyone, what's the next sheriff going to do?
Sure.
Is he going to set it at 120 or is he going to set it at 1? It's, there's no insight into the process and there's no accountability. And that I think is the concerning part when you're dealing with $100 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thinking about the future, like they tried to play down this idea that, like, our proposal could be expanded to 240, but that's not, I mean, that would be way down the line. That might be a possibility. But as soon as you bring that up, it's like, well, that's the goal, right? That's the end goal. It's they're going to expand it, right? Right.
And if you look at research where facilities are made bigger, especially, and there's a lot of research on this, those I don't even like there's more incarceration in communities that build bigger jails.
Right.
There's lots of research on this. Yeah.
We have the space for it. Get those people off the streets.
Yeah, it becomes a business. That is deeply disturbing.
Especially in rural areas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I think the jail population here peaked in the early 2000s, right? And
I've heard many conversations in these same public meetings talking about the decreasing rate of incarceration, and they credit a lot of the diversion procedures, policies that they put in place. They talk up the Guide League Center a lot as an alternative to locking someone up, and that's great. But, like, take that more seriously.
Yeah.
Like, why is it such a battle when somebody says, "What if we invest even more into these, like, good things that don't put people in jail?" I don't know why this has to be a fight.
Yeah, I think around the 2013 proposal, the number was actually increasing and it was sitting around, I believe it was around 160 total. Since then it has dropped to the total number of about 90 and it's been relatively stable.
Yeah.
One of the ironies, I think, not to get back to the survey too much, but speaking of mass incarcerations, the director of CSSI at the university is a sociologist, Markenberg, and Ethan Rogers, he's another professor associated with the center. He actually directed this survey, research, and focus group project. They're both sociologists, and they both do research, at least partially, on mass incarceration.
Right.
And I've read studies that they've published together showing that, incarceration sort of holistically is really bad for health outcomes in communities where there's a high rates of incarceration.
Yeah.
Especially for marginalized black populations.
Yeah.
And so they've published on this. And so it's, this isn't really the Johnson County Board's problem, but, I find it ethically, sort of a big problem to me that they contract with the county to do what is, research is mostly persuasive, in effect, for expanding a jail, right?
Yeah.
Seems like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't quite know what's going on
and
there.
they're experts in knowing. I mean, if they've published articles, they're experts in knowing how harmful this is, and then here they are agreeing to do work that largely, again, if they are experts in this field, would know that expanding a jail is going to lead to more incarceration. I mean, as a researcher, I I cannot imagine, I study abortion, I cannot imagine contracting with a city to help ban abortion.
Right.
Like, that just seems so counterintuitive.
Yeah. And I'm sure that this was never said out loud, right? But the deal is the county is working on this project. They paid these researchers to conduct a survey with the hope that the results of the survey support the further development of this project, right? So it's not like probably directly tit for tat kind of thing, but that's the unspoken deal going on here.
Yeah, it was, I guess, in the objective to gauge public input. Yeah, sort of a weird way to put it, but and also to they did some they had open-ended questions, and they did some focus groups, which changed when you look back at the initial proposal, but. So there was some nuance to what they were looking at, and they got into people's opinions on the cost and different factors. I haven't seen any evidence that any of that information will actually be used. Right. But it's there. It could be used in the plan.
Interesting.
But nothing I've seen in the meetings or talking to supervisors suggests that it's not like we're going to the public and now we're making a plan, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad has a wish list. Right. What do you think of this wish list? Well, now what do you think of the wish list after I told you it's good?
Yeah, they could use this focus group data where people literally say, well, cost would be a huge determination. There are focus group responses where people literally describe how the survey itself, I can't remember the exact quote, but is like, it felt persuasive and manipulative.
Oh, they said this in
there
a
are
focus
participants
group?
of...
Yeah, a couple did, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting from a research perspective.
Yeah, this is the first time hearing of these focus groups. So.
Oh, yeah. That's a bigger topic.
For some reason, this doesn't get brought
Justin.
up.
I don't know if you want to mention their initial proposal, Cris. But,
Sure. So off the top of my head, I believe the original proposal to the Board of Supervisors, which they tabled it at that time to decide on later, was to have 6 focus groups, which would include, I believe, staff at the sheriff's office. Yeah. It would include formerly incarcerated people, and so some other community groups. And it would basically be for the purpose of doing a needs assessment, like a broader needs assessment beyond, the sheriff's wish list, essentially. But those focus groups never happened. What happened instead was that they were supposed to send out a second mailer as part of the survey research. They didn't do that, so they saved, I believe it was around $7,000 in printing costs.
Okay.
And they just shifted those printing costs into doing focus groups instead. And they ended up doing, I believe, 3 focus groups. And those were not selected from, incarcerated people or staff or whatever. They were just, it was an opt-in question on the survey, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And then, if you said, oh, you probably support it or maybe not, then, you were part of that focus group. And that's essentially how those were conducted, which is very, very different from what the board was initially told.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a bit bizarre from a methodological standpoint. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Saul. But the people that they selected were these people who were what is the qualitative term again? Is the people in the middle.
The Likert scale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were the qualitative terms for the people in the middle again? Like somewhat?
Oh, or probably. Definitely yes, probably yes, probably no.
Right. And so the people that were selected for these focus groups were in these probably no and probably yes, which to me is really interesting because I feel like if you're wanting to pass this project, right, or you're wanting to understand perspectives, it would be really interesting to listen to the perspectives of people who are definitely no or even definitely yes on this.
You probably want the full gamut, right? Just everyone.
It's an interesting decision from a research perspective that we could get into. CSSI not defending their research in public, but would have been a question I would have asked them.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of this, your questions about the process here, the research methodology, the interpretation of the findings, a lot of this is coming across to me as akin to vaccine skepticism.
Are you pulling the RFK card?
Okay, so yeah, for people who have been listening for the past 45 minutes, I think that, the three people in front of me their motivations are true and honest, and they have legitimate questions about what's going on here. But some, when presented with these questions and the skepticism, found this to be much like Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s anti-science, anti-health initiatives.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when your, well-reasoned and honestly motivated questions were met with, you sound like a crank?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, and I heard Cris say this, Solomon hasn't shared his positionality, but again, my positionality coming into this wasn't, let's not build this jail, and let's...
yeah, you're not like some obstinate
like
anarchist
me.
You're like
and to be fair...
You're getting a PhD, you're a serious person.
Yeah, and to be fair, do you know what has actually led me more to not wanting to build this jail? Is their responses and the more work that I have done in actually digging into this situation.
Yeah.
If they would have responded to me, Justin, thank you for taking the time to do this. We're gonna talk to the researchers about how this research can be used. We appreciate you raising this attention. Mm-hmm. Ironically, I would not be sitting in your living room right now.
Right. Yeah.
I would not have made 3 statements in the last 9 days at the Board of Supervisors, and not, this is So Rod Sullivan likened me to RFK Jr. For raising concerns. He made this point that no one, here comes this person out of nowhere raising these concerns.
Right. The survey was a year ago. Where were you then?
Yeah. You want to know where I was? I can tell you where I was, serving Johnson County residents for mental health, getting 0 pay as a PhD student. That's where I was, Rod Sullivan. And working on my dissertation, which also studies the impact of policy on Johnson County residents and Iowans alike. And so this idea, too, that there's an expiration date on democracy, or once a project starts moving along, the buck stops with any questioning, is bullshit.
The boulder is rolling down the hill. It's too late.
You missed your chance.
What?
You want to get run over?
That's not the community I want to live in. Answer my questions. Get CSSI in. That's what I've wanted all along.
Yeah. Well, asking questions is slowing down the process, and it's frustrating.
It's inconvenient, huh?
And he has a gun.
He's been there 20 years, and it hasn't been passed.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Solomon hasn't revealed his own personal feelings on the jail.
I haven't made up my mind. I think there's probably some reasonable expansion or smaller facility that I would support, but I'd have to see the location and the size and the cost. And,
sure. Stuff that we don't know yet. They've been very, I think for legal reasons, they can't tell us where they're planning on.
They've had issues they've tried to buy land from the university, and they've refused to expand, I think, or build at the same location where it is now.
Correct. Yeah.
And they don't need much, but the university's refused. And of course you said, and previously they tried to combine with the courthouse, and there's been all kinds of different proposals.
Yeah. Months ago they were talking about a combined facility with the city as well.
Yeah, that didn't go over as they planned. Yeah. So they've been changing things, and
So you haven't made your mind up yet?
No, if there's I'll decide when they have a plan, I think.
Yeah. I think that's wise. I think you're a reasonable person for that position. Yeah. I'll be transparent. I think that being somewhat of a roadblock to further incarceration is kind of a moral duty, regardless of the specifics of the exact plan. But I can understand, they're going to treat the inmates worse if we don't allow them to build something at least new.
Yeah.
It seems like they're allowing the building to deteriorate further than it needs to, because that makes it an easier sell to build the new one that they want.
Yeah, it was interesting. I saw some coverage on that meeting from last Wednesday, the work session, or was it last Wednesday? I'm sorry, my dates are getting really messed up, but I think it's KCCI or something. And they're talking about Supervisor Fixmer Rise and their opinions on the jail, and how This process should probably be slowed down, etc. And in the background of this, even with media, is like the sheriff's footage of the deterioration of the jail.
Right.
And so it is just a really interesting narrative that we keep getting pushed, is this one-sided narrative. And I think that there's a much more expansive narrative to be shared. And that's what I'm invested in exposing, is the full story.
Last Wednesday was May 6th, by the way.
Thank you.
I remember dozens of minutes ago I said I don't remember what day it is. So yeah, do we want to get into the Rod Sullivan of it all?
Oh God, I feel like that's an episode in itself.
I mean, I don't want this to just be like the hate hour on one person, but he is the guy who likened you to RFK Jr. for having questions about the way that this jail is being pushed on everybody. And, a lot of people, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, that was his knee-jerk reaction to your valid questions.
Yeah. I had a student of mine tell me that they saw that the Graduate Student Union put out that the statement against his behavior, and also put out the video of me confronting him about calling me RFK Jr. And ironically, the student that I taught sent me an email saying, it was so weird considering the fact that you taught us in a 2-part lecture series about ethics and Andrew Wakefield and RFK Jr. and the way that they use research. And so but you know what? It doesn't, he does this to everyone. It's not personal to me. This is exactly what he does when he feels threatened in some way, when he feels worried that his message is not going to get across, when someone is slowing down any sort of a process that he wants to keep pushing through. He just resorts to name calling and belittling, and honestly has, from people who've come forward and told me all of the ways that they've felt belittled similarly by him, has gotten away with it for about 20 years. I think the buck stops here. There is absolutely no way that I'm ever going to be quiet by this. I think that a part of my, privilege and small power that I have is to use my voice to speak against this kind of behavior by elected officials. I think it's absolutely unacceptable and unimaginable that when faced with someone who's asking genuine questions, that you're not listening to them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of an attitude of like, he's been in that position for a long time. He's in this every day, all day. He knows, and it's annoying that somebody can just step in and be like poking holes in this when it's like he's very invested and like this is his life.
If those meddling researchers had got in the way of my plans, we got this on the ballot.
Well, it's not even his plan. It's just, I think he's also invested in maintaining good relationships with other highly elected Democrats in the county, including the county attorney and the county sheriff. He wants to have a good working relationship with them. He believes that they are also honest people with good motivations, and so their plans are good, and we should we should help them and facilitate what they want, because it comes with better outcomes for everyone. I don't believe that personally.
No, I don't believe that either.
I think we should, at the very least, have a lot of questions for these people.
And the framing that I disliked the most out of all of it, it wasn't the RFK Jr. Because truly that's laughable. Even my student was like, "That's ridiculous." Yeah. It was his implication that I was attacking these researchers, these in quotes PhDs, because. To me, and my response was like, you don't understand the research process, because truly anyone, and I think, some people in this room saw the emails even before I sent them or shortly after and were like, you are being so kind, like too kind. A part of the research process is to question it. There's not an expiration date on that.
I mean, you mentioned that you're defending your dissertation soon.
Yeah.
That's the whole
I'm not
thing.
just going to go in and they're going to clap and say, good job.
Shut up. I know what I'm doing.
No, I have to defend that work. I have to defend the decisions that I made. And as a researcher who does take research integrity remarkably serious, there's so many examples of me, really engaging in ethics and research. I'm on the Iowa Psychological Association's ethics committee, and I have been for 3 years. Like, the idea that I'm coming at this attacking people is just ludicrous.
Yeah.
And that is what I reject. And I think that framing is really critical in this conversation to elevate and denounce. This is not about attacking anyone. And ironically, he said that after calling me RFK Jr.
Yeah, and I think that it comes across as an attack because you are a woman.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing, Justin. Again, you could just have an hour podcast where you just sit down people, and talk about their experiences with Rod Sullivan. But yeah, no, Rod Sullivan has a long history.
He's always been nice to me.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense to me, huh? That's funny.
I mean, maybe not after this, but I have criticized him before, like to his face sometimes, but like, I don't know, we never really had any. It's never been unfriendly.
How do you make sense of that?
I don't know. I think that on some level, Rod and I are the same kind of guy, just a white Iowan man. And so there's some level of solidarity there. Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, I met Rod probably 2015. He was involved in like the Bernie Sanders campaign in Iowa, and he like helped teach us how to caucus and stuff. I had a very good first impression of him.
Yeah.
But it has, sometimes I think that he views like the idea of progress very differently from how I view it. And I think he's really invested in, holding on to his job and holding on to his relationships with other elected officials at the expense of, actually we're like trying harder to build a more equitable and like vibrant future for everyone, I think.
Seems like he probably has more anger issues than you also.
I'm furious all the time. You can't hear it all the time. You can't always see it on my face, but I'm always pissed. Is there anything that we haven't gotten into? Because we've almost filled an hour just with what we've already talked about.
I was just going to say, ironically, I don't know if you all saw today, but Bernie made
That's true.
Endorsements, released them, and endorsed Mandy Remington, V. Fix Morale Rise, and John Green. Absent from that list was Rod Sullivan.
Yeah, who was an important part of the Bernie campaign in 2016, as I was just saying. So, I don't know, maybe things have changed to some degree. Also, shout out to former guests of this show, India May and Layla Staten, who are also on that list. I don't know how much weight a Bernie Sanders endorsement has with me anymore, but I mean, good for them. It's definitely attention grabbing. Like, that's a big deal, right? For somebody at the county level to be getting a senator's endorsement. So, congrats to them for whatever that means for everyone else. All right. We good? Anybody have any final thoughts?
I mean, I really hope that the county will step up here and provide the information to the voters before, putting anything on the ballot.
Yeah.
Why are the decisions being made the way that they are?
This is a county full of very educated people who think hard about a lot of
so give
these
them
issues.
something to think about.
Yeah, and I think that reacting with sort of like hostility to people seeking more information, more justification is not going to sit well with a lot of people here. So if you want this to pass, you got to have some level of back and forth engagement with the people who are living here and are going to be voting on this. Yeah.
And, I think you heard from all of us is we're not necessarily in favor or not necessarily opposed to a bond measure and voting yes on a certain bond measure that would support a jail.
Yeah.
But they think that they're going to shut us up and, Rod's action or like humiliation is going to shut me up. Rod, you don't know who I am, clearly. Like, I will invest a lot of resources into fighting this campaign, absent, exactly as Cris said, more information.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And keep in mind, because of changes at the state level, every supervisor's name is going to be on the ballot along with that bond measure.
Yep, that's right.
So your name is there, and whatever language you choose for the bond measure is right next to it.
That's right.
So you are tied to this. Like, your name you as a person have to be associated with it, whether you like it or not. And I know that the ballot measure is not going to say, do we abolish prisons?
No.
That would be easy for me to vote for. But, that's what I want. So can you give me something that, like, I can be convinced of, maybe? You have a few months to do it. I'm not going to vote for it. But the people sitting in front of me, they might. They're being honest when they say this.
Yeah.
They're not me. They're not some obstinate radical, like I said. These are serious people with serious concerns. And I think that they should be listened to. You don't have to listen to me, but you should listen to them. So thank you all for that conversation. I think that was productive.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. And now the episode is over. I don't have much to plug this time around, but I do want to thank Allison, Solomon, and Cris once again for coming over and recording that conversation with me. If you have any thoughts on anything we discussed today, if you care to weigh in, you can reach Rock Hard Caucus at 319-849-8733. We'd love to hear from you. Positive or negative reactions to anything we say on the show are always welcome at that number, which again is 319-849-8733. I have gathered some relevant links from the discussion today, the survey results that the CSSI produced, the space needs assessment that Cris referred to, also videos of recent Board of Supervisors meetings. If you're listening to this on the public feed, there's a link to Patreon, and that's a free post, and that has links to everything relevant. I do that for almost every episode, by the way, if you're not aware. And while you're there, if you're interested, you could subscribe to us on Patreon for just $1 a month, and you get extra audio. If you give us $5 a month, you get video sometimes. If you want more of this stuff, it's on there. We don't make much money doing this, but if you like the show and you want to contribute, we'd appreciate it. Patreon.com/RockHardCaucus. And now we're going to end with some local music, as usual. The band Stare Into the Night has released an album called The New Abyss recently. You can find this at stareintothenight.bandcamp.com. And it says here that they have a show on the Ped Mall on September 18th, the Ped Mall in Iowa City. I assume that's part of the Friday night concert series. September 18th, Early Girl and Lipstick Homicide also play in that show, so that'll be a good time. Those are free shows, so you can just hang out and see Stare Into the Night, the band that you are just about to listen to. And what you're about to listen to is their song, Secret Room. Secret Room is the song by Stare Into the Night. And that's all for this week. Rock Hard Caucus 249. Oh, next week is 250. What are we going to do? Something special? Only God knows. I haven't decided yet. But we'll see you then. Bye.
Are you awake? Have you left it behind? Was your dream a mistake? Is it dignified?